Hey, hi guys.
Hello
Welcome
everyone,
back. Yeah. So,
I'm Charul.
yeah, I'm Rahul and
Yeah,
today,
so today we are going to discuss about protocol-based passwordless authentication. So as we discussed in the previous webcast, what is authentication? So authentication is verifying that what you are saying you actually are. And why do we require passwordless authentication? So the first advantage is, like, you all know that we human beings are very lazy, and we do not want to enter our information every time we go to some new website. And second reason is, like, we tend to forget passwords. So if we are using different websites and we are entering different passwords, so we tend to forget so easily. So if we have, like, some other way of, like, just doing the authentication part, so that will be good for us. So the second reason is, like, as we did earlier, like, the HTTP and your certificate based authentication, so they are prone to, like, they could be easily hacked. So
yeah,
yeah, like, they can be hacked. And we came up with, like, we have HTTPS, which is better, but again, like, it is
yeah. So, yeah, you are right. Like last time we had discussed about the different different methods to do the authentication. The two one which we discussed about the basic and the form, and the third one was certificate. So all we were discussing about on the HTTPS, and they can be easily hacked because they are going on to, like, and there are a lot of security vulnerabilities are there in those authentication. But yeah, they are still used, but the use cases are different. The use case here we are talking about, like, keeping the credentials of the users, like who is using your application, becomes the most important task, because if that credential gets lost, then it's like it's a very bad name to your app, and the, like, lot of user will stop using your application. So it's a big thing for um, as a company or as a developer or anything. So that's become the most important part. So yeah, as Charul is telling, like, HTTPS has improved the securities of all this, like HTTP basic or the certificate. If you are doing that kind of authentication on the HTTPS, it has improved, but still there are a lot of vulnerabilities out there. So yeah, Charul,
yeah.
so how can this passwordless authentication can help us, like the secondary?
Yeah, so if you see, like, as a developer, if you do not have to store all these credentials, so
Yeah.
and like, you are depending upon some other third party applications for doing the authentication for you, so it becomes easier for you to not focus on the security reasons and the storing the credentials. You can focus more on building the app rather than the authentication and storing all the credentials part. So it
Okay.
becomes easier as a developer
Yeah,
also.
I can like relate easily with that. So, like, when I was trying to develop this my own application, like a year ago, and then I saw that, like, okay, there is a man in the middle attack, there is a session hijacking, there are like cookie hijacking. So there were like lot of like securities vulnerabilities where they're on the, like, people to get their credentials of the registered user. So I was like, it's nightmare for me to learn all those like solution for all those vulnerabilities and put that into my server. So basic thing I can do, but like learning all about those sophisticated kind of like hacking will be like difficult on my part. But if someone else, other service, some kind of service provider can abstract away that kind of this problem from me, then it's like, oh, I can like more focus on my other like features of my app rather than just on the authentication parts. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
so it's
that's
a
true.
great, yeah,
And also,
thanks for putting out this point. Yeah.
yeah, and also, like, if you have a website, so you'll see that if you have like other third party authentication, then there will be more conversions as compared to if you are having a form and you are asking user to put all your user information.
Yes.
So like, user conversion will be more in this case.
Yeah, I agree. Like I was reading one articles on the Hacker News where one of the user, like one of the experimenter has put his data that there was like 75% more. Like he did a A/B testing with the where some of the user were giving the form based authentication thing, like put their credential and register and get authenticated. Another one was like Google Auth or this like OAuth protocol based authentication. So there they saw that like there were 75% more conversion. So it's a like huge leap. Like if you are developing and if user do not have to put password, and the conversion rate becomes so huge. So it's like really helpful to like apply protocol based authentication. Yeah.
So yeah, today we'll be discussing OAuth 2.0 version.
Yeah.
And so let's move forward. Can you tell me like what is OAuth?
So OAuth in simple term is like someone is having your resource. So you are the resource owner, but you have kept your like resources, this credentials or the information on some server. So those are like the resource server, and there is just some other person who is trying to get that information. So OAuth protocol is like this protocol which allows some third party, like the client or the third party, to get the information from you. So it's a, like a protocol which connects all these three dots. There is a servers, there is a resource owner, and then there is the client who is seeking the information of a user. So all this, the process which connects all three dots, that's the OAuth in a simple terms. But I think it have the four main role. Like I think you can explain about that.
Like he told that we have the four main dots that we are connecting. So in this case, the first role is resource owner. So resource owner is the one who will grant permission to all his resources. So let's say you are using some website, let's say you are a user on Facebook. So you will grant permission to all your resources on Facebook that, okay, you can use my, let's say, I'll allow the third party, I'll allow the Flask app to use my list of friends. So that's like I allow my app, Flask app, to use my friends list on the Facebook.
It means you are the resource owner.
Yeah, I'm the resource owner. So in that case, like if I'm a person, I'll be called as end user.
Okay.
So next thing is resource server. So in this case, resource server is a website which hosts all the resources, which has all this information. So in our case, let's say if we are using Facebook, then it is Facebook which is holding all the resources.
Yeah, you are right. We just talked about this. So resource server is the server which is managed by Facebook, which keeps all the credential data. So as a like developer, I do not have to take care about like all this like security features and everything. It goes under the Facebook parts. Yeah. So resource server is that which have the information about the user. Okay, got it.
Next is client. So client is like, let's say we have a Flask app and it wants to use the information. So it will request for all the resources. So that's it. Like it will request for resources and resource owner will grant the permission, and resource your server will give the permission, like will give the resources. And then there is authorization server, which will give after issuing the access tokens, it will authenticate. Okay, yeah, you have successfully authenticated, and then it will give you the resources.
Okay, so summing up, like we had these four things. The first one is the resource owner.
Yeah.
It is like me or anyone who are having some like personal data or something like that. So it's a kind of end user. So I am the resource owner. So end user equal to the resource owner. The second part is like resource server. So resource servers is where the end user information are saved. So it's like it's a kind of like Facebook. So I am on Facebook. So I have some information on Facebook. Facebook saves some data on a server that named as resource server. The client is kind of like Facebook application. For example, like Farmville or the games, like all those apps which requires my data. So those are the client which seeks my data so that they can use as their authorization purpose or any other purpose, like to get my friend list and to take my email and send me like messages. So whatever. So those are the clients. So it's a kind of third party application. The fourth thing is the authorization server, which finally gives my all information to the client. So sometimes like I was reading going through it, and sometimes I have read that the authorization server and the resource server, it's a kind of rather than like separate entity, they are like one thing. Like it's not separate, it's like one thing at some places, but yeah. So that's to keep in mind for like you guys, like if
Okay.
you get confused about okay there is separate resource server, so it's can be of resource server is where data is saved, and authorization will finally providing the access token where they can get the data. Yeah.
Okay, let's move
Okay.
ahead.
Yeah,
And
sure.
so let's see how whole process works.
Okay, I think we should share the
Screen,
screen
yeah.
so that they can see what we are trying to, how the protocol flow works in this case. So let me share a screen quickly. It's like entire screen. Yes, let's move it. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, so OAuth protocol, you can see the client is any app. So client is like let's suppose that we are currently will be working on the Flask app. So client is my Flask app. So how the process work? The client app first asks for the resource owner like authorization request. So resource owner is like me. So it will ask the resource owner, okay, do you want to provide information about do you like it will ask the user like do you want to provide Flask app to get my your email address or something like that. If the resource owner like gives the permission, the clients gets that access token, the authorization grant for that. And there the second is the authorization server. So now the authorization server, so nowadays this authorization server and the resource owner process has gone indirect. So first of all, for example, let me show you. For authorization server, I have to get the authorization that I want to know the information, like I am a eligible client, and give me the permission to get the information about the users like which are on your platform. So for example like this, so I have made a Bolly Crawly app here on the Facebook developer side. So when I am providing my detail, like okay, I am this app and I am developing this app for like business or utilities purpose. So then Facebook gives me a app ID and app secret. So this is a kind of authorization server is granting me permission to use their platform. So they have granted me permission. If I am not able to create this app, if I do not provide the proper credential which Facebook require, then I will not get the grant. So the step which we are talking, this step, the authorization server and the client thing is here, is the same thing while you are creating the app. The part that which talks about the resource owner thing is the pop-up. When someone's tried to click on login with Facebook, it pops up, it's asked for the permissions, and then you finally allow them. That is this. And the final thing is like the resource server gives the all the credentials data about the user to the client, which I save or which I use to display. Okay, okay, hi, whatever the name you have. So I got your name, I can display that on my app. So and
Yeah,
also
so
the
as an
friend list.
example, like if you log into Facebook, like if you are login in a trying to log in a website and you try to log in through Facebook, so it will ask you first time, okay, do you want to provide permission to do the, like Facebook will say, okay, should, like you as a user, are you allowing your this app to use my Facebook data? So in that case, you give the permission, and next time that app can directly take the all the data it wants, so it will not ask for permissions again and again from
Yeah,
Facebook.
yeah, it's already like
So it got the token, and next time it will not ask for the token again and again.
yeah, it will not ask for the grant to
Yeah.
like whether we provide. It can directly takes the whatever the permission you have
Yeah.
granted for the data. So that's it. So so this is like it's written on the doc, all the process how it happens. You guys can like see and check it out. And then this is the things which in our case, like which we are today going to do. And this diagram explain which we all have talked like right now. So let me explain again about this. So I have a Flask app and we are using Facebook. So what the Flask app does, like Flask app needs some user informations. Okay. So okay, it asks the Facebook to give the permission of that user. So now Facebook takes that request because this Flask have already registered on Facebook and Facebook consider as a valid client. So now Facebook takes the request and it sends it to the user. Okay, and it asks the user, should I allow him to get your permission? The user says yes. So if user says yes, the finally Facebook gives the grant, and the Flask app will have the permission of that user.
Now it can access all the information.
Yeah, so that's the process. And the application for this webcast, the code is available in the document. You can go to the GitHub and download this. And then okay, there is one mistake here. I think we have added the old doc. Okay, so the name of the application is OAuth demo. So it was the authentication it was written. So just get inside that demo application, and then install all the requirement of it, and then start the Python app. So let's do that. I will show you all the step here, like how I am doing. So it's here. I just cloned the app here itself. Let me make it bigger, I think. Yeah. So if you see, this is the application, like I just downloaded, and it have this oauth.py requirement.txt. I need to run this application. Let me run this application. So I need to run app.py. Okay, now application is running. It's running on the port 3000. Okay. I have changed the default port because on the Facebook application it was 3000. So I didn't want to create new application. That's why.
Okay.
So and to create on Facebook, you should have like this local host. You have to provide your URL and port. So everything you need to care about, like this thing should match with what you are running here. If the port number is different, you will not be allowed to like log in. It will give you an error. Yeah, they check about like from where the request is coming, from which domain. So something like that. If they do not find it, they will like reject you. So you will get one code 191 error. So let's go. Let's do that. Let me go and open a new tab. Enter localhost 3000. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let me do log out. It's logged in. Okay. I was trying to test, so I think it kept the session. Yeah. So I don't know you. So it's a very simple app. Let me show.
Yeah, we're just trying to explain how you can do login through Facebook.
Yeah, I'm just trying to log in through Facebook. So this is my app, and there is a login button, login with Facebook. I didn't implemented I do not want to implement the authentication like form based or something and keep secure the user data on my side. I just want to like at this stage of the time, delegate this task to Facebook or Google. So I choose first Facebook, because in our course we are already teaching about Google Auth. So I thought that Facebook would be a good demo for right now. So login. So I have to do the login with Facebook. So login with Facebook is a button. Okay. When I click on login into on with Facebook, it try to call this endpoint. The app wrote authorize endpoint. So authorize endpoint and is the provider. So provider is Facebook. So I can extend this application for like Google or Twitter or anyone, like whoever, like GitHub, whoever providing the OAuth authentication. So I can do that. So right now, so I have implemented the app so that it can be extensible. So here is the provider, and how the provider data is sent. If you see on the index.html, you can see that I am passing the provider data here. So for the URL you auth authorize, I am providing the Facebook.
Yeah.
So it gets the Facebook here, and thereafter if it sees that is current user is anonymous, if yes, it returns to the index page. If not, then I check it like, okay, now I need to sign in. Okay, so I call this OAuth sign in uh, is the function, is the class which I have made in auth.py. If you go out to auth.sign in, and thereafter I will call the authorize function into it. So if you go to the app.py, thereafter I call the get provider. So I got the provider here, like Facebook one. So if you see the code here, um, so this is the get provider. So if provider is none, it is checking that which provider it is, and according to the provider, it returns the object for that. And once it is done, it calls the authorize function, auth.authorize. So if you see the code for the auth authorize, it's here implemented for the Facebook. The Facebook looks for like so I have already passed all the information, like what is the graph, authorization, URL access token, and everything. And I have also provided my app ID and secret key here. So guys, it's open, like people can use this. I do not like that application Bolly Crawley can, people can use this also. So I don't have an issue with that. So the first thing is like so it can take all the information, my client secret and the consumer ID which I have provided. Thereafter it return the redirect, it check for the get authorized URL where the scope is email. The scope is email means like I am trying to get the email of the user.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm only asking for
Email.
information.
Yeah, if you pass it here like comma, like okay, place of birth and something like that, you can provide, like there are some of the basic information which Facebook provide by default. Like if user authorizes that, you can get those information. But if you need more, like you have to have like extra there are like extra protocol for that, like you have to ask permission from user. They see that whether your application require those information or not. Like for example, if you need to know the messages of that user, like you want to read the message of that user, so whether your application is actually using that information or not. So Facebook checks that. Until unless they checks that, they do not give you the permission to get those data. So it's, you can read more about on their Facebook documentation, like developer documentation in the API. So once this is authorized, so response type, I am asking for the code, the access code, and the redirect URI. So this is very important. This is the callback URL where the finally your app will be redirected. Okay, and this is, and if you see here, so finally this is the place it will go to the callback URL, and my callback URL is it's here, is this. So finally this is the callback URL where it check for, like I'm returning finally the social ID, username and email. So these three things I am returning. But if you see that Facebook do not return the username, you already only have the email, you need to break that email as a username. So for me, like I'm using like email to split it through dot, and I am providing the first part of the email as the username. So that's what I'm doing. So actually Facebook do not, and I have commented here, Facebook doesn't return username, so you need to get the email. So let's do that and let's see like what happens. So finally this will show something like, okay, your username, something like that. So let's log in. Okay, yeah. So my email is like rahul.rrixa at gmail. My Facebook email ID is there. So this is there. So it's saying that, okay, so I was able to log in. The pop-up didn't show, guys, because I already tried this year. If I doing like incognito window, it might like pop up the window, but it doesn't show right now. But yeah.
Yeah, it's all already saved.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. So let me stop sharing this. Yeah, yeah. So I think like we are done like about today. This is the OAuth about, like if you guys have any questions like related to it, let me know. Like let us know. Like still like 5 minutes are left. We can talk about that. Hmm. What? I think like everyone is
Yeah.
like okay with what we have to, and let us know. Like no problem. Like if you're not asking right now, and if you face any problem related to the applications or the webcast, just let us know on the Google, like Google Plus forum.
Yeah,
There we
like you
can,
can ask questions
you
on the
can
Google
ask on
Plus page.
like full stack developer Slack channel also anywhere. So we will try to answer you there also. I think we are now good to
Yeah, we are
go.
done for now.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Okay. Bye. Bye, guys.